Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tonya, and if you are returning, well today I'm going to be working on my fall series. And if you enjoyed the video today everyone, I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get started with a beautiful fall centerpiece. Now for this design, for the base, I'm going to be using this little box that I picked up at Dollar Tree in the spring. It was in the section that they had some Father's Day items. And I just went ahead and stuck that with some newspaper just to give it support. And then I'm just going to take one of the foam blocks and just glue that right to the top of this. And everyone, this turned out so pretty. I was wondering what I was going to do with that little box when I bought it. And it just worked out perfect for the fall decor. Of course, you can't go wrong with some brown for fall. That always seems like it works really well. Now I'm going to take some of the little berry branches. Now the inspiration piece that I found was on the Kirkland site. I'll leave a picture of it right up here where you can see it. And I knew that I didn't have all the neutral colors that I wanted, so I just decided to paint everything. And I mixed just a little bit of soft ivory and just some of the Craft Smart paint, and I did use a satin, and that seemed to give it just a little bit of a sheen. And then you can see I just decided to paint right over those yellow berries and let a little bit of it pop through. And then I went ahead and painted the leaves white, and you noticed I did take those leaves off of the berries, and that's because I wanted to be able to glue them back on where I needed them in the arrangement. Now the colors of green that I'm using there is an alfalfa and a moss, and I had just mixed those together, and then I just added some white to it just to make a little lighter blend of green color. And I was really trying to pull those colors in that design that I saw on Kirkland's. And you can see I took some of my burnt umber. Actually, that's some really expensive paint, everyone, that heavy body, and I just happened to have that on hand, and it was a couple of years old. So I wanted to just kind of touch up the branches and the stems just to give it a little bit more realistic look. And you'll see when this design is all done, it really made a difference, and it really turned out so pretty, and I was really happy with this one. And of course I'm taking that burnt umber again and just touching up the pine cones that I had. And this is some greenery that I had from Dollar Tree that I just cut apart from a different design that I had taken apart. Now the fern branches was some I had in my craft stash, and I just decided to pop those in the side, and that's where I was going to get this kind of flowing downward. And now they do have the fern, of course, at Dollar Tree, but I decided just to use these because they were on hand. And you can see the way I like to build my arrangements is I kind of make sure I go from side to side and just balance everything. I'm not a florist, but I have been designing floral arrangements for many, many years. And I've just kind of come up with my own method, and I'm sharing it with you for inspiration and hoping that it will help you to design your own floral arrangement. Now you can see where I got that little wire sticking out there, and that's going to be perfect for me to glue my leaves back onto. And then it left some of them kind of free flowing too that I could fill in different spots. But you can see that's how I just kind of get my base started for this design. And then I want to find a center point. So that's what I'll end up doing after I get my white berries kind of rearranged. And I was kind of looking at a picture of the one that I wanted it to look similar to on the Kirkland site. And that really helped me kind of pull the colors in that I wanted. But everyone, that one was over $30, and this one was definitely made for under 10. So it was definitely worth my time of painting all of the items and just creating this design with Dollar Tree items. I was really, really happy with how it turned out, and it's going to make a really sweet little arrangement that I'm probably going to set on my coffee table. Now, of course, I'm just going to hot glue everything on, and I always do use a Gorilla hot glue. That seems to hold everything really well. Well, everyone, I will go ahead and mention, if everything goes well, we should be finishing up the flooring and the final coat of paint on the studio this week. And so I'm hoping sometime next week I'll be filming my first video out there with you. Now back to our floral arrangement. You can see now I'm just starting to use some of the smaller pieces, and I just want to fill in around that top because I'm kind of making this one look like a mound that just flows downward. And I did put that taller one in the center there just to give me a center point with this, and that way it would really look like it was mounting over on each side. But I really love how this one turned out. It's going to look really good setting on my little table in the living room. And also, there will be a few things that I'm going to start posting once I get a few more made up on the coffee shop once I get that set back up. I'm just trying to get in the studio right now, everyone, and that seems to be taking a lot more time than I thought that it was going to. Now you can see I'm going ahead and just gluing some of those leaves back on, and some of them I glue to the wire and some of them I'm just using as fillers on this. And this was such a cute design, and I always like to pick up those little boxes that they have there at Dollar Tree because I think you can just do so many things with them, and this one happened to be perfect in the color brown to use for a fall arrangement. Now I'm just going to fill in with the pine cones, and I really am trying to give this one some balance to the front and what I would call the back side. And I did a little bit more on one side because sometimes I like to just set my things on the shelf. And honestly, I only had a few of these pumpkins, and that's why I did that. And I just tried to add a few more pine cones on the other side just to make it have a little more balance to it. But I'm pretty much just going to finish this one off with almost all of the greenery and picks that I had and just keep filling it in. But I think this one was pretty close to that Kirkland's dupe that I'll have a picture of right here that you can see, and just really happy with this design, everyone. And here is a little video of where I displayed it on the shelf. Now for our next DIY, I'm going to be making this fall wall art piece. And this little black truck was also on that Kirkland site. And I remembered that I had this one in my craft stash from last year, so I just wanted to peel the paper off, and I decided just to use the front on this. I think I was thinking that it might have a little texture to it. And once I painted over it, it did have a little bit, but you just as well could have used the back. And I'm really just taping that off because I want to be able to paint in the white bumper, and I just want to paint in a little window in the back here. But this was a really fun design. I think I've seen this done before, but I really like this one, and I knew that I had the supplies to make it, so I thought that I would give it a try. And I believe this one was also around $30, and this was definitely way under $10 to create this one with the Dollar Tree items. So this was a fun little traditional, I guess you could say, fall piece, and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this one, or I may be putting this one in my coffee shop store once I get that open. And everyone, once again, once I get out into the studio, I will be on a more regular schedule. It has been a lot of work trying to get the studio done by ourselves. It's just taken a lot, and we've had to do it in little bits here and there over the last few weeks. Now you can see once I got my truck painted with a couple layers of the black paint, I'm just going to fill my bumper in and the window with that white. And this was a really neat little truck because it had that silver leaf there. And boy, did I find out that you can definitely use these transfers for glass pretty much on wood or paper or anything. They work the same. And I thought I would just pop that happy fall right there, and then I put you all down here at the bottom on the bumper, and then we're going to put our little flower arrangement right there in the center. Well, everyone, I hope that you did enjoy the DIYs today. I promise once we get out there in the studio, I'll be doing a lot more. I've got several of them planned out to create. I have just not been able to get to them until we get the studio done. So everyone, say a prayer and cross your fingers for me that we can get it all completed this week and we can get on our regular schedule. Now you can see I used the harder foam piece for this design, and I would not suggest doing that. It was really, really hard to poke some of the little flowers in. I ended up having to glue everything on, which it still worked out just fine. And of course, all of the greenery except for those big leaves I had in my craft stash. And I found everything else at Dollar Tree, and some of this was left over from last year. And I just decided to build it up and make it look like all the little pumpkins were full in the back of this truck. I thought these were some pretty little pieces that look like wheat. And I did pick those up this year, and I just thought that was different, and I thought I'd just pop those in there. And you'll see here at the end, I just kept feeling like I needed some white, so I went and got some spring flowers out of my craft stash, and I had to pop a few white flowers in there. And of course, if you know me and follow my channel, you know how much I like to add white to everything. Well, everyone, that pretty much finishes up our little black truck, and here's a little video of where I have it hanging on the wall, and I hope you did enjoy this DIY today. Well, everyone, if you had a favorite one that I did today, don't forget to leave that in the comments below, and also I would love it if you would like, share, and comment, of course. That really does help my channel get noticed by YouTube more, and it helps my channel grow. Well, everyone, I hope you have a blessed week coming up, and I will see you on the next one.